You know, I would like to tell you a small story. It is very, very good explanation for my life. God has created Adam, and God put Adam in paradise. Ask him, "Oh, Adam, how are you?" He said, "I'm good. I'm safe. I'm very well, but I'm feeling boring." And God increased his bounties on Adam, gave him a lot of fruits and a lot of life, good life again. Ask him again, "Oh, Adam, how are you?" He said, "I'm good, but I'm bored." When God created Eve and make them together, and God asked again, "How are you, Adam?" "Oh my God, I'm very good now. I'm perfectly good now." Yes, America is good for me because America protect my life. But I'm boring here. I'm feeling boring here. I'm bored here. I don't have any taste of life without my family. I live the life like a plant. I don't have any good feeling. I don't feel my love with my family, my wife, my children. Being a plant is not a good life.
One of the few traits all humans share is family. No matter our race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, class, or religion, every single human has family in some form or another. Family connects us to the world around us and influences our beliefs, values, and morals. For many, family is a network of support and love that follows us from birth to death. However, family unity for immigrants is in peril, and it has been for a long time.
I think primarily there are several economic challenges because that is often where it starts. Poverty and unrest in Latin America gives rise to violence and hunger and sort of poor quality of life that often forces families to make really difficult decisions about how they're going to feed their family and sort of guarantee their safety. And many families do choose to separate for what they hope will be a temporary period in order to migrate and do what they need to do to find work and gain stability and safety. And so already you have a sort of forced separation that is economic in nature, or primarily economic. I think complicating that is sort of where my work enters in, which is really looking at the intersection of immigration enforcement and child welfare. And I mean, you can talk about those two systems separately. The immigration industrial complex in and of itself, which would include policing migrants at the border and internally. It would include detaining immigrants and all the privatized and also contractors of different facilities where immigrants are detained. And then it would also include the actual deportation of immigrants. All of those steps separate families. And detainment can be particularly problematic because it can be very lengthy and very ongoing without a clear future. Oftentimes in my work, when a parent is detained, their parental rights are terminated pretty immediately because they are treated a very similar way to how we treat incarcerated parents, where we don't assume they're ever going to be free, or at least we don't assume they're going to be free within a time frame that allows them to resume their role as a parent. And so their parental rights are often terminated, which basically means that child legally is no longer yours. You have no claim to them. And that makes them adoptable. And so sometimes just during the detainment process, parents lose their kids and they lose track of like what happened to their kids, and their kids are someplace else. And then, of course, deportation is a major separator.
Households, the family member, the head of household is the one that has a mixed status. It doesn't have to be the resident or citizen. Usually the kids are the ones who are citizens. When this person gets deported, it kind of breaks the family. It breaks the structure. It breaks the stability that it has. And at that point begins the trauma. Where did this person go? What is happening to this person? Right now, economically, we don't have enough to sustain ourselves. So in different aspects, it impacts the family. It impacts the children. It impacts the head of the household. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man, considering that the better half of the other person is no longer there to give the support that they were having. And it becomes to a point that they don't even know what happened to this person, what's going on, what's going to happen when they go back to their country, and what they're going to have to face, because for some reason they're here. So they start dealing with all of this grief because that person is not with them anymore. And they don't have enough support either emotionally to face the situation, because they feel alone. They not necessarily have the support, the circle of support from other families, because they have it in their home country and they have to face it alone, sometimes with even kids. And the kids get lost because they don't understand what is going on. Why did they get separated? They don't have an idea, most of them, when they get to a teenage age, of what is immigration, but not necessarily at a young age. So at this point, they just understand that their parents, their sibling, or someone in their family, in their household, just left, and they don't know what happened to that person. So that bond that they created, it gets impacted in many ways. So inside of them, they go through some type of PTSD as well. From that day, depending on the way that that person got deported, it could be left in the minds of them. And either if it was because they saw it, or maybe because they saw it the day before and they're not going to see that person again. So what happened, that absence is definitely going to create some issues inside of them, because they won't be able to create the whole story and put an ending to it. Even if they get in touch with them, it's usually months later. So during the meantime, they still struggle with the idea of, are they okay? Will I be okay? And also, of course, it's also going to depend on the role that person was having in that household. So even if it's some uncle, it's not directly the father or the mother. But while that person was there, since Hispanics, we usually put a lot of importance on family. So the bonding is different for us. So an uncle it is part of your family. It's not extended family. For us, it's our family. So when the person leaves, it creates a hole, and everything is going to start also in going around in the minds of the people who are left is going to happen to someone else in the household. So another fear kind of starts. Is it's going to create some repercussions against the people who were left behind. That
immigration is a vast topic, and it is impossible to generalize the experience of these individuals who choose to leave their country of origin to seek a new life. For the purpose of this documentary, 2 children of immigrants were interviewed to analyze the positive effects family unity had on their parents' experience in the United States.
My late uncle was like fluent in English, because he actually grew up here. That's like my dad's aunt's son. So he was already here in America. He was like fluent in English, so he would help my dad out. They were like best friends. He also probably helped my dad with English. Without like family connections, he probably like would have to start like probably more like physical work in terms of like more just like construction probably. And I know that the family helped him get his green card. Yeah, because he was like just here for a little bit, and then he got his green card with the help of his like English speaking part of the family. Like originally it was just my dad, his aunt, like his aunt's family, like having them here helped them bring like my grandparents over. And then my uncle was actually like disabled, like he wasn't able to walk for his whole life. And the healthcare system, even though it's like expensive here, it's like it is better like quality over here. So they were actually able to get him like his first like electric wheelchair here. So I know, but I don't know. They were just able to help like bring the rest of my dad's family over for a better life.
Now like she has to organize their doctor's appointments, organize stuff with like their social security and retirement funds. She has to call everywhere for them. She's the one that like, she's basically like their spokesperson for everything in their lives, like everything important. And they have, and like just technology and like medicine, like everything. She's like does everything for them. And I think people paint immigrants as like, oh, they're mooching off of America or whatever, like they're moving here and getting opportunities, which is true, but immigrants tend to be the ones that make the most of the opportunities they get when they come here, because they're so driven and so hardworking, and they come from usually such like a poor, corrupt background. And you know, there's so many immigrants who are like the top of their field, or like, you know, doing amazing things, and that's because I think of like the driven and hardworking qualities that they have that can't really be found in people who come from their background, and that they also instill into their families. Like I would say that much of my independence, I would say like that I value independence the most, and that's because I come from a family of immigrants. So yeah.
Heard this question was, yes, it's definitely important, unity amongst any family, Latino as well as American, no matter where you're from, it is important. But now for us in the Latino community, we give major importance to being part of the family. Once we leave our home country, we're looking also for family members, no matter who it is, someone else who can give us that same support that we were having. So culturally, we are trying to search for a sense of belonging within our family, within our culture. Once we get here and we can find that, it provides us a mental state of more patience and confidence, basically. Okay, now I have my family with me. That's my circle of support. Now I have support group, and I think I can move on. I'm not isolated. So maybe sometimes in these families, when you get isolated, you don't have that family, you don't have that unity. That's when suicidal thoughts come in, right? And not having something bigger than yourself to belong to, it's also gonna drift you in the wrong way. It's gonna make you not care enough, not trying to set up goals to go towards the good things in life, and you may get drifted in abuse of substance or anything else that is going to try to take you away of minding the important things in life. So definitely just the basic unity in the family is going to give you the support enough to find some mental stability.
We help create definitely like strong bonds with that. It's interesting how like an example of that as well is if you come from a different country, it's really funny sometimes to see how you see your flag like in cars or like neighborhoods, or you see it like in a restaurant, and automatically it's like your heart starts feeling bigger, right? You're like, oh my God, I have somebody here that share my culture, my language, my food. And sometimes we don't even consider how food is a mean of unity with family, right? Like you see a restaurant that have that, it may or may not be the best restaurant out there, but you want to go there and you want to go and invite your friends and your family. And that spot right there become a source of unity for your family in this new place. So oftentimes it's all of these other things as well that connects with that sense of belonging that she was talking about, right? It's just so important to maintain like that cultural aspect within your community to make you feel like empowered, strengthened, and help you move forward with whatever it is going to be your goal and whatever it is going to be the next step that you're going to take to be successful in here.
Family unity not only benefits the internal structure of the family, it is also externally beneficial on the communities in which these families live. However, the absence of family unity can be devastating.
I don't want to cry again, but I used to live with my family very close. I love my wife very much, and I love my children so much. It was really a hard time for me when I applied. I mentioned you the asylum here because I know that we are going to be separated for a while. It was very hard time for me to accept this, but it was no choice. I only accepted this asylum seeking. It would be only 1 year, maybe. Oh, okay, 1.5 years. Okay, maybe 2 years. I could handle this. But nowadays, it's more than 5 years. We are separated. I lived for my life 5 years here in America as a half person. You know what does it mean? I lived my life as a half person, maybe sometimes less than half person I am. You know, my wife is not here. My children are so far from me. Life is really very hard without, handling everything by myself. And there is no any support for your life. Being alone is nearly unbearable torment for a man in my age, especially. I suffered a lot to live alone here in this country, but I only hope, still keeping in my heart, I will, be successful to make a reunion, my family here in this peace area. But really, it was really long time for me to stay here, a lonely person. It was really hard time. Still, I'm having this. Of course, everybody loves, family life, of course. This is the nature of humanity. And being alone is not a, healthy choice. Nobody wants to be lonely in this world. And especially for me, we were very close, I never slept out of my house in my life, except my travel, my journey. And this is I think, good explanation how we are close. Sometimes when we gather in the breakfast, we were chatting all with my family, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, on the table, around the table. And we were very close with my children. So suddenly everything has gone. I have seen my kids only through the phone, like you and me, like right now. One of my youngest daughter, I have 4 daughters. My youngest daughter has written me a small short letters. She said, my father, my daddy, I have graduated from high school without you. I have graduated, I have entered the university without you. I'm now almost getting graduate from university without you. No choice for me to stay here to protect my life. And when I applied in front of my lawyer, I was really crying with my old tears. Still, I'm feeling the bad in that when I remember that moment, because I was 55 years old man, and I know what to mean of the staying in another foreign countries after 55 years old. It means that your life will be zero, go back to zero. You will start from your life as an elementary school student. I was thinking that, I know that point. It was very hard time for me to make application. I sometimes say, I will die here alone. I'm thinking that point. Probably I will die here in this country without anybody seeing me. Of course, if they were here, my life will be totally changed. My social relationship with other family, now I have a business here. I have 2 stores in Pittsburgh and also in Grove City. One of my employees, she's still studying in high school. Her family invited me a party. I kindly reject because it was a family party. I couldn't go there because I was alone. I didn't want to, mingle with the among the family of my employee. If my wife was here, of course, I would like to socialize myself with the invitation, and I would like to help them to share their happiness. Also, I would like to be happy with them. Unfortunately, I kindly rejected. I'm so sorry. I couldn't make it. I said. I know it's still, affecting my life to be lonely. My wife is away from me. And also my kids, if they were here, I would like to join the school parties, and, I would like to share with them some sports activities. I don't know, some social activities. I know that. I would like to be, a part of the community here in this country. But still, I'm a single person, and there is no any good relationship for me with the other people, just only work, except to work and work.
Compassion and understanding are critical when discussing topics related to immigration. Although the majority of U.S. citizens have no control over immigration legislation, we do have control over our empathy and kindness. It is our job to create communities where family unity can be achieved, encouraged, and expressed.
I would say the education definitely is the first thing, right? Like we have to continue to spread the words. We have to be more informed about all the different possibilities of like being here could provide to your family. It is challenging, right? We know that it is challenging. A lot of our clients come with stories that you could create books out of. Like you'll be like, oh my God, that's a movie for sure. Is it real? Like, and you see it in their eyes, in their struggles. It will be very interesting to see how by sharing those stories, people can understand better like the struggle of these communities and the challenges that they face every time they have to make that big decision, right? For the better of their family, sometimes for safety, sometimes for just a source of food and different other challenges that they face, right? It's important to continue to bring services that are in their language so they can be, at least at the very beginning, reassured that they can start somewhere to learn languages, right? To learn English, to take the steps towards understanding the community better and each other better, to connect with their kids in these cases that already are starting in school to speak English. They don't understand them most of the time. They rely on the little Spanish that they kept from their country that they came. So it becomes already challenging between the unity of that family to understand each other. So sometimes even that is important. Having a place that is good in Spanish and English, but start in Spanish is very good for us to be able to help not only the parents, but the kids, right? And it's interesting in here how we have comfortable with English, comfortable with Spanish, because sometimes kids come like, I don't speak Spanish. I'm like, okay, how about in the household? Oh, they make me, it's really interesting. So I think helping people find resources, and I think for me, it is being an ally, right? There's not a small step, there's not too small of a step to take when we're helping our community, whether it is in our organization or outside of the organization. It's understanding that every little small step that you think that you're taking is a big impact for this family or this community, right? Sometimes it's even like going to the grocery store and you see that this family is struggling to understand these questions that are thrown to them at once in English and they have no idea what's going on. And you already are a bilingual person and you just intervene and mediate and say, hey, can I help you? Let me help you. Those small steps makes big impact. And I think compassion is so important, where while you're thinking of all the things that we can do legally and things that we can do in the community individually, that compassion has to connect in all those levels. You have to be able to really find the empathy to just talk and share ideas and share experiences and just be able to provide like another helping hand so they can be successful. Because if they're successful, the community is successful, and we as a country become even more successful and powerful. So everybody is part of this one country. So every person is important.
I do think that they have an idea of what being an immigrant is, but many people, as she was saying, I think the biggest focus that she gave us was the struggle in their past. It's not as easy as just coming over here and starting a new life. It's their family structure. It's usually they come from families that are already broken and they're trying to make things better. So taking in consideration the past and the will that that person is having at that point, because if they came all this way, believe me, it's because they have something inside of them that is pushing them to become better. So it's time to give them a chance and actually, okay, let's listen. Where do you want to get to? What are your goals? Because if you're here because you're willing to put in the work. And that is most of the people in the Hispanic community are here willing to put in the work, because most of the people who come to this organization are seeking for some kind of help to make better the relationship with their kids, to find the resources to become kind of financially stable. And you can see the push inside of them, no matter their background. As you were saying, you can come with all the trauma, but still, you're still looking for resources that can help you overcome what you went through and still are going through. So I get it's very important to know the past and where do they want to get to?
For students, community members, everybody that have some power with their voice to help the community be heard. It's so important, right? It's the kind of links that help us be us and continue to be important for the community and keep us here. Having a nonprofit organization is really challenging, right? We depend on those voices of support and the people that get the time to listen and provide the funds so we can move forward and we can continue to provide this guidelines, this service that allows them to just feel being a part of something, to just go ahead and say, hey, I sacrificed my life in most cases, and there's still a chance for me to just succeed. There's still a chance for my family to be happy. Another thing that we receive a lot in here is that humbleness, and how this group of people, you help them today, and 5 years from now, when you're ready, like you provide that service to them, their children come back and they say, I remember the time that I was there, like, and how my family changed. And it came from being angry to become present and happy. And suddenly the family starts smiling again. And suddenly resources start providing the happiness that I thought I would never find. And these are the same people that become our volunteers and become another voice, right? So you never know how impactful the work that you do and the voice that you have will create in a family and an individual. How far this people can, and this person can go in life, and how appreciated they are. And you don't do it, and we don't do it for the appreciation, right? But in their hearts, they are. Sometimes they don't need to say it, but when they do, it elevates everything, right? It definitely gives you a more sense of purpose. And you say, oh, there's another motivation. So something that I would definitely share is continue to be motivated, right? It's hard, definitely hard and challenging, but the motivation that we create for each other and that support is what keep us together, being stronger every day and keep this subject that is so important current.